The OG is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Again, more on that later, as I mentioned in the intro before. But this is a really, really exciting episode of One-on-One on the Bottom Line podcast because we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the guitarist of F211 and Concrete Castles. He needs no damn introduction. He is Matthew Yost. Matt, how the heck are you doing, my man? Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, I'm doing good. Got me up a little early, not gonna lie. Matthew does not usually wake up this early, but that's okay. Anything for you, Jimmy.
Dude, I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. Don't come crying to me.
Okay, so, I can't hear you. I'm not doing that.
But no, in all honest to God seriousness, this is going to be an absolute blast. I can't thank you enough. Look, we had Audrey on first. I figured, why the hell not have you on? I'm going to have Sam and Ryan on at some point as well. I got to talk to them. But thank you again for doing this, and I thank you all in advance for doing this as well. So let's not waste any more time and get started. So again, I have to reiterate this. Anybody who knows me by now knows I have to know the origin story of how this person got started into here. But I already pretty much know how your background started with the guitar, because the first time you guys were on this show, you mentioned that you got started playing guitar because of Guitar Hero 3. Was there a specific song that made you want to start playing?
No, not really. I think it was just I kept playing through the game, like the entire game, like story mode, just over and over again. And just I love to see the progression, I guess, of the game, because obviously not all songs are created equally. Some songs are super duper hard, some songs aren't super duper hard. So I was just really intrigued, like, okay, there's this instrument that I think is really, really cool, and not every song has to be insanely difficult. I think that was like, okay, I was really liking music at the time. I was like, okay, I don't really want to do anything at like school. Because I mean, I was also super young, but you'd see like the older kids, because I started in like first grade. And you see the older kids with like instruments. I'm like, I don't really want to play any of those instruments. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm really cut out for that life. So I was like, let me try guitar. And then that's how it kind of started.
I like it. Short, sweet, and to the point. Now, did you have any musical influences at the time you first started to play guitar?
Yes and no. I had musical influences, probably none of my own. I mean, obviously, every song off Guitar Hero 3 was a musical influence just because I played the game so much. But my dad really liked like 80s music.
Right.
So I just really liked 80s music. And I was just like, I just want to play 80s music. Yeah. 80s music is either the easiest or hardest songs you'll ever come up against. And there is absolutely no in between. It's just like 80s pop over here and then like 80s hair metal over here, where you're just like, yeah, you kind of have to got a guitar if you want to play any of those songs.
I 100% feel that. For those that don't know, I actually play guitar myself, so I kind of feel that, Matt. So that's no lie. You speak facts. But so going back to your guitar origins, how did you first find out about the Rock School? And by the way, if you're not watching on YouTube, that is where currently Matt is. He's at Rock School Studios. How did you first find out about the Rock School? And given that you were kind of new to the guitar at the time, was there a point in your life where you said, oh, I'm actually a bit nervous to be in a band like this? Or was there a point where you said, oh, this could actually be a really cool opportunity? What were you thinking at that time? And how did you hear about the Rock School?
Well, when I started playing guitar, there was no Rock School. Our band would have been the first Rock School band from Ryan. So I actually got started to do lessons with Ryan because Ryan's then girlfriend worked for my dad in hairdressing, because my dad's a hairdresser. And Ryan was at a like hairdressing show where they like cut people's hair and they show it off. And Ryan was a model, I'm pretty sure. And I think they introduced him as like guitar teacher, blah, 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 blah. And my dad was like, well, my son wants to learn guitar.
Oh, man.
So that's how I met Ryan. And then about 1 or 2 years down the line, Ryan put together me and a bunch of friends that I had. It was more so like my parents knew them and I didn't really know them as much, but my parents knew them. And so he put all us friends together in a band. And that was like the first Rock School band when we were then called M4. So
Yes.
it was a lot easier to like, there was no like, oh, I'm joining a band. It was just kind of like, it just happened. Like, it was just me and a bunch of like other friends. And like I said, you're so young at the time. I was 9 years old. I wasn't like thinking anything. I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll play in a band. But I definitely look back and just like, thank God I'm in a band, because it makes guitar so much more fun to play.
Right.
Not that I don't have fun playing by myself, but it adds extra motivation.
No, right. I definitely understand where you're coming from, but let's talk about the origins of the band for a second. First of all, M4, Mini Men Making Music. In case you don't know what that stood for at the time, now you know. Who came up with that name? First of all,
someone's mom came up with that. Ryan would probably remember exactly which mom came up with it. I want to say it was Bo and Charlie's mom.
Okay.
But like I said, your boy has kind of blocked out every early memory of that name because I don't want to talk about it anymore. But Ryan would definitely be able to tell you the 100% who made up the name. So when you get him on, you'll have to ask him the same question.
Hey, all good. I mentioned this to Audrey though before. If you are curious, M4 still has a couple of their original songs still on their YouTube page. So in case you are curious, go look up M4 on YouTube and you will understand what we're talking about. But just don't mention that to Matt anytime soon if you are listening or watching this. But I digress. So from M4 now to the origins of F211, because Audra was not your original lead singer. It was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, her name was Catherine. Am I correct on that?
No, that was the singer before Audra, but the original, his name was Steven.
Okay.
We were without a singer for a long time. If you go watch our M4 debut video, you can see that Ryan has like one of his friends singing for us.
Right.
And then I forget how Steven joined the band. I think the rock school was established by that point, and he was a singer, and we needed a singer, and it'd be very intimidating to put a girl singer in with a band with all guys at that point, because no one's good, because like you're all like 10, like none of you are good at guitar or whatever you do. So Steven joined, and he was the first singer, and if you want to look hard enough, you can find videos of him singing in songs we wrote with him at like 10 years old. I'm not going to tell you how to find them, but if you look hard enough, you
can. No need to tell. It's all right. But
and then Catherine was really good friends with the rest of the guys in the band. I was a little disconnected because I was a year or two younger than them. And that's how she joined the band. After Steven was done, because he wanted to play basketball. Because we were like I said, we were very young.
Okay, I got you. So now at the time that Audra and Sam joined the band, why the name change? And I know it was based off a game that you guys made up called Volleyball, where it's F211 points wins, which go figure. Why the name change from M4 to F211?
So that was the time where, like, in hindsight, nothing was happening. But at the time, we were like, we're getting serious, bro. We gotta set ourselves up for the future. You know what I mean? We were like, well, what if we wanted to like trademark this name or get the rights to it or whatever the legal stuff there is. We were like, okay, is M4 available? And the answer was no. There's an Australian DJ. He's actually very cool. We actually got to meet him, named M4 Sonic, who trademarked M4 for his like merch. And we were like, why don't we just ask him if we can just use the name? And our parents were like, no, you can't ask him. Just change the name. Later on, we did meet him at Warped Tour, and we did ask him, and he was like, yeah, we're just giving you the name. And we're just like, okay, that's great to know. So we were basically like, okay, we can't be M4 anymore. We got to think of a new name. We thought of F211. I'm happy we changed the name, because even though like you could have been M4 without it standing for Mini Men Making Music, I was just like, man, being 15 and having a band name M4 and knowing that it kind of stood for that, like kind of not, I was just like,
yeah,
get out of here.
Yeah,
away with you name.
Yeah,
I'm happy with the newer name.
Peace. I want nothing to do with you. See you later. That's really, really good stuff. Now, how did you first encounter Audrey and Sam?
So Sam, I knew Sam way before he ever was involved with the band, because
Okay.
he was our old guitar player Ben's like really good friend, and was also took lessons from Ryan, was involved in the rock school. So Ryan would always do like rock school, like, shows where all the rock school kids would play, you know what I mean, like a 20-minute
Right.
set, and you'd see Sam there, and Sam would come to our practices and hang out with us because he was hanging out with Ben, and by proxy all of us. But I didn't meet Audrey until the first practice she showed up to, because she just enrolled for the rock school, as she probably told you the story.
Right.
She enrolled for the rock school, got put in our band, showed up to band practice, boom, met Audrey.
yeah. She was telling me that origin story, how she learned the wrong song, and you guys had to I think the song that she was trying to learn, I think it was Hysteria by what? Was it Muse or
She was supposed to learn it by Muse. She learned
it was Muse.
Def
Okay,
Leppard.
yeah.
And it's so funny because she was kind of like, yeah, and I felt so disappointed. Dude, I was such an astronaut because I'm so young. I was just off into space, like, I'm just vibing, bro. Like, if you were like, Matt, we're not playing that song, I would have just been like, okay, whatever, man.
There you go.
I'll play the song. Sounds good.
Just go with the flow. I like
I didn't even realize. I was just like, brother, it's all good.
There you go.
Wait, one last song to play. Let's go.
Now, listen, obviously, First 211 has come a really long way. You guys have been together for a really long time. At the time of this recording, which is August 1st, 2021. By the way, I can't believe we're in August already. Where the hell has time gone?
I know,
But
summer feel like it just evaporated.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. But look, at the time of this recording, you guys are close to 1.20 million subscribers on YouTube and counting, 1 million streams on Spotify and a bunch of music platforms. You guys have obviously come a very, very long way in the almost 6 years that you guys have been doing this. What has been the most memorable moment for you so far as a member of First 211?
Oh, dang, bro. That's kind of hard.
I know it's a loaded question, so please take your time.
Well, it's more so that do I say what like I actually want to say, or do I just lie? Because I'm much different than a lot of people when it comes to like memorable moments. And I actually don't mean this in like a bad or good way. I just mean it in like, I definitely care about the little things a lot more than like everything else. So I'd probably say the most memorable moment is like going full time.
Okay.
Just because like that means the most to me. I didn't really want to like pursue college, you know what I mean? I was okay with doing it. I had accepted my fate, but I was like, I really want to do this. I didn't really want to like, I really was like, I have a lot more that I know I can do with the band. And I have a lot more to give when it comes to terms of music and ideas and videos and originals and all that. Like, so I was just like, man, I want to do this. So going full time was just like, yeah, you're going to do it. Now it's just like no excuses. Like, do it. Like, you got what you wanted. Now let's see how you make it work. So I think that was like the most memorable moment for me, when it was just like everyone made their decision, like, hey, we're going to sit here and we're going to come to the studio every day and we're going to work. And this is like what we're going to do. You know what I mean? I was just like, let's go. Started off a little rough, not in any bad way, like with anybody else, just like getting acclimated, like, you know what I mean? How much do you work? And how much is too much work? And how much is too little work? And like figuring out all that, figuring out the logistics. But you know what I mean? Doing a little bit of growing up, because like at the time I was still 18, you know what I mean? Just graduated high school. I'm just like, oh, what do I do? Because like I feel like some of the parents of the rock school is a little like, my parents had moved away. I'm now a full-time musician, and they're just like, what is this Matt kid doing? He's just like, he just hangs around the studio all the time. Like, go home, Matt. I'm just like, but I don't got a home. This is my home.
I like it. You mentioned your originals. Let's talk about that for a second from the First 211 side. We'll get into the Concrete Castle stuff in a little bit, because obviously First 211 is known for covers, which you're really, really good at, and keep doing what you're doing with that. But what made you guys want to start writing your own original songs as First 211?
I mean, like it started all the way back in M4 where we had always just written original songs. Like we have original songs from when we were like 10 and 9, 10, 11. You know what I mean? They're obviously not good because they were written when we were 9, 10, and 11, but they still exist.
Right.
And the goal of the band and like the goal of the YouTube channel was always like originals first, you know what I mean? And then we'll use covers to, you know, introduce people to our originals, and we're good. That's what we're gonna do. But like things definitely just changed when because that kind of, I guess, mentality was definitely laid out. Not to say it's a bad mentality. It worked, you know what I mean? But that mentality was definitely laid out before we kind of fully grasped what was going on, before we even like, you know what I mean, knew every single thing. Like we're just like, we didn't know you could actually make a career out of like, you know, doing covers. So definitely changed like perspectives, but it always had started with like you write originals, like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't so much like what made First 11 start writing originals. It's just like, oh, well, we should probably write some originals, you know what I mean? Then we did, and then, you know, because we also played out live way more. Obviously, no COVID, all of that, and just like there's not much else to do because I mean, like we weren't shooting videos that back then, and when we were, it was once a month videos, not every week. So we just had a lot of time, a lot more time. There wasn't really any stress to do anything. So you'd play originals and you play them at your live shows and you'd sprinkle them in and you'd hope people would like them, and then it's kind of why you wrote it, and then you keep doing it. Nah, that's about it.
Now, I mentioned before that you are the OG, and the reason why I say that is because you are currently the only consistent member throughout everything that has gone on with the band. So with that being said, what has been the most important lesson that you yourself have learned throughout this entire timeline?
Consistency. That's all that matters, is consistency. Because I was never the best in the band. I was never, you know what I mean, the best at anything, but I just kept showing up. Better or for worse. I just kept showing up. Like it didn't matter. Like it's really just like, it's gonna sound stupid, but it's like the tortoise and the hare, where it's like everyone else was like, okay, let's get really good now. And I was obviously trying to get better, practicing, doing all that. But I was more so like, no, I want to do this for a long time. Like, how am I going to do it for a long time? You know what I mean? I'm not just focused on now. I'm focused on like, you know what I mean? Of 10 years from now, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just about like, how could I make this continue to go, and just enjoying it, like given time. Like I just look at it like, you know, the more you do it, the more you're going to like it, the more you're going to learn, the more you're going to do stuff. Like, it's funny. I don't even consider myself the original, like the longest member, because Ryan has always been there too.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
what I would do is I just hang around Ryan like all the time, like the most out of anybody, you know. So he'd be like, "Hey, do you want to come, you know, help me set up for this show that you're not even a part of?" I'm like, "Sure." You know what I mean? That's more time. That's more stuff I learn. You know what I mean? Little by little. Do you want to come to do this with me? Yeah, sure. I would go do that with you. And I just put the time in, and it definitely like awards you things that you probably wouldn't get otherwise. Because like I said, I was never the best in the rock school or the best, you know, anywhere. But like Ryan's like, this kid just puts in like so much time. Like this is crazy. I was the best at showing up. I was kind of crazy.
Hey, listen, man. You know what? Just because of that consistency, that does make you the best at something. You are 100% right. Consistency is everything when it comes to everything, really. No matter what you're doing, whether you're in a band, whether you're doing what I'm doing, whether you're an artist or whatever, you just got to keep showing up. That's really all that matters. So you're 100% right. I can definitely relate to that. That's really good stuff. We're talking to Matt Yost here on the One-on-One series on the Bottom Line podcast. Let's fast forward now to Concrete Castles. How did that come to be?
Yeah, I'm gonna mess up the story so bad.
Oh no,
I don't even know anymore. Like I don't even know, man. I felt like they just like popped out of the ether, and they were just like, "Oh, you want to do original stuff?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." No, but our manager Michael Kaminsky had been talking to us for years. I think he found us because of like the Rock Off, or maybe it was a YouTube video. I don't even remember how he figured out about us, but he'd been talking to like us for years and like doing little things like, okay, Audrey, come out to LA, write a song, see how you like it, blah, 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 blah. All of that. So, but he had like a rule where he's like, I don't sign kids. You know what I mean? And at the time I was like, that's so stupid. Now I'm like, nah, that's a pretty good rule. Probably shouldn't, entrust 15-year-olds to do anything right ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So time just kept going on. We won the Rock Off. We played on Warped Tour, and I'm pretty sure he was there. Maybe he wasn't. Like I said, I don't actually remember this story. I'm such an astronaut through all of this because what was my main goal? Just to show up. I didn't really care about anything else. I just showed up. But fast forward, we were just like, yeah, we're going to do this full time. And he was like, oh, you're going to go full time? Well, let's pursue this. Let's get you signed. Let's do all this stuff. So we're like, perfect. We do all that. Concrete Castles really originated out of, we wanted to do original stuff and they wanted to do stuff and we wanted to do it with them. So we're just like, perfect. Let's just do originals with them. And we were just like, can we please still do covers? And they're like, yeah, but we don't want it to be under First to 11. And we're just like, that's fine. Let's change the name. And like, let's basically add another business. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are confused. Like, why did you change your name? But I'm just like, well, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Just go check both pages if new music is up. Like, yeah, I mean, the logistics don't really care. Like, can you sit here right now and tell me every Tom Petty song versus Tom Petty and the Heartbreaks?
Nope.
No, you can't. Just shut up. Just go listen to the music. It's good. It's good music.
Exactly. Now, I've asked this before when we had you guys on as Concrete Castles, and I'll ask this again. You guys got the name from a First to 11 original, a little known hit called Thrill, just a little bit. Now, you guys weren't thinking about, at the time you were writing that, you weren't thinking about how that one line, Concrete Castles, could be a cool band name in the future, were you?
No, we weren't thinking about it when the band name was decided on.
Okay.
Because we didn't think of it. The head of the label that we're on, Velocity, his name's Dave. He's amazing. He's like, yeah, guys, we need a name. I was listening to Thrill. I'm just like, oh, Concrete Castles might be a pretty cool name. We're like, yeah, whatever, man. Sounds good.
There you go.
And then that was the name. I think this is gonna sound dumb. I think the best names have zero attachment whatsoever.
There you go.
It just is like, boom, yeah, name. Because then you're never mad about it. Because like when you try really hard to give a name, people are just like, oh my God, that was such a stupid name. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, bro, I'm chilling. Concrete Castles? Yep, sounds good. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, okay, Concrete Castles has good like imagery associated to it, and it can be shortened to CC. So I was like, yeah, it kind of checks all my boxes.
Yeah. How hard was it to keep Concrete Castles a secret for the longest time?
Pretty easy for me.
It was easy. Okay.
That much. I mean, like, I don't really do anything. I just sit at the studio all day and like record and do nothing. And like, I don't really like social medias that much. Like, so it was pretty easy. Also, like, it's fun to watch fans squirm around and not know what's going on. So like, yeah, it was pretty enjoyable for me. Like,
oh my God. You just love keeping us all on our heels, man. That's pretty much all it is.
I'm pretty much just the embodiment of evil.
Well, obviously, you guys have gotten a really good following as Concrete Castles. You've already released 3 hit singles, Just a Friend, Half Awake, and Porcelain. You have a new one coming out very, very soon, which I don't know. I don't know the release date yet, so don't come to me like, oh, you know something we don't know. No, I know nothing. Okay, so don't come attacking me here. All right, but anyway, I digress. But with that being said, you guys do have an original album coming out very soon as well. And in support of that, you guys had your first ever show as Concrete Castles, which I was at in Atlantic City, which was an absolutely amazing show. You guys were fantastic. So with that being said, how did it feel being on that stage for the very first time as a new original band, A? And B, how did it feel being on stage for the first time since COVID happened?
I got bad news for you. I'm not very sentimental about all that stuff.
Oh,
to be honest, I didn't like, it sounds really bad, but it's like my job. So I'm like, not like, oh yeah, let's go. I'm just like, no, this is what I want to be doing. This is what I know I should be doing. So I'm not just like, thank God I'm on stage, because I'm just like, I feel like that's almost underselling myself. Like, no,
Right.
I should be up here. I'm not gonna get sad about that. But like, in all honesty, it did feel very good, obviously, to get out after COVID and be like, finally, we're playing shows again. But
Right.
it didn't feel any different, from any other show. It was just like you got your set list, you know what you're there to do. Like, because some people are like, I feel more attached to playing my own original song. And it's not that I'm saying that they're wrong or that I don't feel that way, but like my goal is to get that excited about playing all music, because that's going to make the best show. Like,
Right.
if I'm playing a cover show and I just don't like the songs, no one's going to like watching me play the songs. Like, that's boring. So it's my job that even if I don't like a song at the beginning, I come to figure out a way, no matter what, that I'm going to like the song and I'm going to perform it, to the absolute best. It was a little better than cover shows, because most cover shows are way longer than original shows. So obviously it was more fun for me that I didn't really have to pace myself. I could just kind of go all out, like for the 30 minutes, 40 minutes that we had, and not really worry about it. Whereas cover shows, you have like 3 sets, like each an hour long. So you have to take it a little bit slower, or else you will literally just be gassed and not want to play the rest of the show.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, playing felt good, but at the end of the day, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I know I'm going to be doing. We practiced a set for months at that point. Like, I knew the set was good. Like, I knew that we sounded good. Like, I knew a lot of things. It was more so just like, I want to do this more, and I want to make sure more people will show up. I was just like, okay, we're good. First one's done. Now let's start focusing, like, okay, how are we going to make people show up to these? How are we going to, you know what I mean, do better?
Right.
How are we going to do this better? Like, it's always a good learning experience, because like, I think it's really funny for like our management team, because like we're like the complete opposite of most bands. Most bands are like very, very good at playing live, very, very, well versed in live shows, and then like not the best at recording at the very start. And we're the complete opposite. We record every day, you know what I mean? If we have to. But we've never really played that many live shows, especially if you count outside of Erie. Then it's like a handful of live shows, you know what I mean? So it's just funny from them, where they're just like, we have this band that's so good at like doing all like the little behind the scenes stuff, but then their live, it's just like they're kind of gooning out about this live show. I'm like, I've never done it that much. Go out. I only play on videos.
Oh my goodness. Now, before we continue, I actually took to social media and asked fans to send in questions for you using hashtag bottom line. And we do have one here coming from Instagram from at Joel Flores 161. He asked you, what kind of music do you like to listen to outside of rock music?
Outside of rock music. Rock is a very just broad term, but I mean, I just try to listen to any and all music, like just keep it like pretty broad. There's an artist named Max, just Max, literally just named Max.
Right.
I'm pretty sure his full name is Max Schneider. Really like his is more like kind of pop R&B stuff. Obviously, Olivia Rodrigo, please marry me. Love her. You try to stay on top of the stuff in the top 40. Definitely have fallen off of that a lot more, just because it's just not as interesting to me as it once was. Ryan plays in Refuge, a country cover band, so I get some country trickled in there, and I'm just like, okay, country music's pretty fun to listen to. Yeah, I just try to kind of like, I'll give everything like one shot, like, but I do mostly stick with like, guitars in the music, just because like that's kind of what I listen to music for. Like, I'm a lot different than most people, where I don't actually ever really listen to like lyrics. I listen to like more melodies and like guitar. So if there's not guitar in the song, that's not to say I can't enjoy it and don't listen to it. It's just obviously I have a much higher chance of enjoying and wanting to listen to the music over and over again if there's guitar in it. So I definitely do stick mostly in like the rock category, if you want to say, but I definitely venture out. I mean, my friend plays in like jazz band and is like a jazz pianist in college. So he'll send me some jazz stuff and I'll listen to it. And like I said, do a little bit of everything, but mostly rock, if that's what you want to call it.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. But hey, listen, speaking of Olivia Rodrigo, and if you are listening, please talk to Matt. But no, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, go check out their covers of Driver's License and Good For You, which they just put out recently. Both are fantastic. And the rest of their covers as well are absolutely amazing. Please go check them out. But let's have a little bit of fun here. Because as you guys probably know, Matt is a very avid gamer. Me, I can be avid at times, but I don't play video games as much as I used to. So with that being said, I remember when you first came on and Neil at the end of our interview was like, oh, we got to have some type of Mario Kart race. At first, I thought it was a really, really good idea because like, oh, we could get a little closer to these guys. But at the end of the day, I was like, wait, this is the worst idea that Neil could have ever. No disrespect to my guy, Neil. I love him. He's a really good friend. But that's the worst idea he could have ever suggested because we got smoked by you specifically.
He didn't know what he was walking into. I can't blame him. He didn't know it was coming. I tried to warn him.
Exactly my point. Exactly,
I think the problem is that I always just talk a big game, even when there's no big game to be talked. Right. So it's hard to like decipher when I'm actually like, no, I'm good at this, or when I'm like, no, I'm just joking. I'm actually really bad. So I think after the whole interview, he heard like, oh yeah, I'm great at Mario Kart. And he was like, oh, he's probably joking. I was not joking.
Yeah, no, you weren't kidding. Look, to Neil's credit though, he did finish third place in every single race, so I can't knock him too bad.
I love the consistency.
But, yeah, there you go. Going back to consistency. But listen, we all know how great of a gamer you are, and I mean, great is probably an understatement when it comes to gaming and you. But going off of that, I know you mentioned that your favorite game of all time is Smash Brothers, which you mentioned the first time we had you on. Which game in particular from the franchise is your favorite?
It's definitely a tie between Melee which is the GameCube version, and then the newest Smash Ultimate, which is the newest version on the Switch. Because like I'd probably give it to Ultimate, just because at the end of the day, it is a party game. Yes, you have to play with friends, and it's just so much easier to play Smash Ultimate with friends than it is Melee. Not only because of the console, as in like Melee, you have to have an HDMI adapter, an old TV. It's definitely a lot, I think, probably harder to get into. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, people are just less intrigued to play it because they're like, oh, the graphics aren't that good, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't look that great, which is, I mean, that's completely fine because, like I said, it's a party game. It's not meant for people that, like, know what they're talking about. But Smash Ultimate, super colorful, super humongous roster of characters to play. 8-player Smash. Like, you can just have so much fun with it just because, like, Melee, you have to take turns. You want to do like 1 versus 1s, you know what I mean? The most 4 people. Smash Ultimate, you can get crazy with it. Like your entire friend group can play at one time. You can have a bunch of fun. So I'd probably give it to Ultimate just because it's much more tailored to the group setting. And obviously, I think the more people playing it, the more fun it is. Because obviously, 1v1ing somebody and seeing who's better is fun. But it's more fun to just like have like one of your friends charging up smashes like on the side of the stage.
Oh my god.
And like you're just like throwing them into it. And then there's the one guy that always picks Link and is just shooting arrows on the other side of the stage. Like that's just hilarious to me.
Yeah, right. You have that one guy just like button mashing everything to oblivion, just like, oh my god, what are you doing? The person
picks Samus, only uses the charged up like shot on her. And they're just like, dude, I'm winning. Oh, okay, sure, buddy. Yeah, you're great.
That's our boy. But who's your go-to main in Smash?
I get really bored with characters, so I have to like switch around a lot. But I think I'm gonna sneeze. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think I'm good. Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon in both games I love because how fast he is. Okay. I really like Falco and Melee. Falco and Marth and Melee are really, really fun to play. I don't like how they feel in the newer games, though. Mario in the Smash Ultimate is always fun. I just like throwing
Yes.
people off and then dunking them. So that's just funny. I used to play Cloud a lot in like the fourth game. Yeah, I try to play everybody. Like I try to just get like Captain Falcon, Mario, Marth, Falco, like my favorites. Like
You see now, I go back and forth between three: Bowser, Ike, and Sonic. And the reason I say Sonic is because Sonic was one of the first video games I ever played, obviously, because the 90s are my childhood. So Sonic was the first game I was ever introduced to outside of Mario Kart 64. So when I first heard that Sonic was announced in Smash, I was like, are you actually kidding? Are you actually kidding me right now? I can actually fight with something. I'm like, yo, okay, you know what? I gotta get, look, I wasn't a huge fan of Brawl, and I'm still not, to be honest, but look, it's bad for the series, but it's in comparison to like every single other fighting game out there, it's okay in my opinion. It's okay. It's still a serviceable fighting game. But when he was announced for Smash, I was like, okay, I gotta take advantage. I gotta get Brawl. I gotta practice with Sonic. I'm gonna beat everybody. I still suck, but you know what? I'm still working on it. It's fine. It's fine. So don't come to me asking for Smash tournaments, because I'm guaranteeing you right now, I will not win. I will lose, especially to this guy right here. If I were to challenge this man right now to a Smash tournament, I would get smoked. I'm guaranteeing you right now, I would get smoked. So I'm not gonna ask you for a Smash tournament. That ain't gonna happen.
probably smart. Probably smart.
Yeah, maybe Neil will learn his lesson not to challenge anybody to Mario Kart anytime soon. But I digress there. But all right, so unfortunately, our time is coming to a close. But before we wrap things up here, one last question for you. And this, I'm sorry if this is kind of a personal question, but I've always been curious about this. If you could go back and tell 10-year-old Matt any piece of advice to be in a band, what would that advice be?
Practice more, you absolute idiot. You're so bad. Just practice your instrument.
Oh my goodness.
I'd probably just tell him, like, I'd probably reiterate the consistency part. I'd probably tell him that none of it is ever that big of a deal. The biggest thing I tell him is, hey, get started on YouTube right now, man. Get on YouTube right now. Start
getting covers.
Get in there while the going's hot. But yeah, I'd probably just be like, I think I did everything pretty well. So, like, all things considered, like, obviously hindsight's 2020, but like you're not gonna dodge some of those like things that you just gotta follow, pitfalls that you fall into and learn from.
Right.
I'd probably just be like, yeah, just keep making sure that you show up. Like, keep finding reasons that you want to play and keep going. And like I said, you just keep doing it. Like, you're gonna get better. It doesn't even really matter. Like, you're just gonna get better. Like, biggest thing is, like, I hate when people are like, you always have to enjoy it. And obviously you should always strive to enjoy it, but there are some days where I hate what I do. Like, it just sucks, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do
that
anymore. But you sleep it off and you wake up and you reset and you're just like, okay, yeah, I was stupid for saying that. Let's get back to work. Like, you're not always gonna like it. There's certain things that, like, there's obviously amazing things. I don't actually have a real job. Like, I get to play guitar for a living, but I also have to deal with the internet for a living, and that's terrible. So
yeah, there you go.
No, but like, yeah. So I'll probably just be like, keep doing what you're doing, keep showing up, keep go find a girl named Audrey Miller. She's gonna be very helpful one day. That's probably what I'd tell 10-year-old Matt. I'd be like, she's probably singing "Rolling in the Deep" and Beechwood Inn right now. Matthew, go get her. Just speed this up a little bit. 5 extra years, baby.
Oh my god.
That's what you know what? Yeah. Screw all the emotional stuff. Go find Audra. Here's her address. Go get her. 10-year-old Matthew, it'd be like a Goonies adventure. I'd just be like looking at a map and be like, what is going on?
Goonies never say die, man. That's the bottom line. But hey, listen, Matt, this was an absolute blast. I can't thank you enough for being a part of this series and for coming back on this show. You are the man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, are you kidding? It's our absolute pleasure. And again, you are always welcome back anytime. Just hit us up and we can always work something out. Thank you so much again, Matt.
Yeah.
He is the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Yost of First 211 and Concrete Castles. If you want to find out more, go follow First 211 on all social media and go follow Concrete Castles as well. And if you want to follow him on his personal account, go follow him at Matthew_Yost_. You may just get some guitar playthroughs once in a while, but hey, we'll see. I'm in no control of his social media
Emphasis
accounts.
on once in a while, like once a year.
Yeah, big emphasis on once in a while. But bottom line is, go check out Matt, go check out First 211 and Concrete Castles. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. For Matt Yost, I'm Jimmy Finizzi. This is the Bottom Line Podcast. This has been the one-on-one series, and we'll see you next time. Peace and take care.